Let's drink beer. It makes my mind clear. It takes me away from here. Let's drink beer. And let's drink beer. Pump it up, lift it up, drink it up.
Welcome to the Art of Beer. We're here joined by Kainoa Carlson, Emmy Award winning daytime talk show host for Hinow Daily on Hawaii News. And he's ready to drink some beer with us.
How's it, guys? Let's do it.
Let's do it. What are we cracking open?
Got a little Party Boy Pills today from Hinow Brewing Company.
Perfect starter.
So it's always a good starter to go with the Pilsner. It's nice and light. Kind of get us introductory to our palate and wake us up and get ready to roll. So
Cheers,
cheers,
guys.
welcome.
Cheers. Yeah, welcome.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming out.
Yep.
Ooh, that's nice.
The Party Boy. Have you had that one before?
I haven't, but I like a lot of the stuff that Hinow makes, so I'm not surprised.
This is what they they periodically do or try to do it consistently. It's nice, light Pilsner, something that somebody can go back to and always know because they switch up a lot of their stuff. But you been to Hinow before?
I've been to Hinow before. I've gone with my brother. He's located in that ward area, right in that high-rise area. So that's like his place of choice. Yeah,
not a terrible place to do.
I'm not gonna lie, it's great over there. I don't have like a ton of. I'm not in the best shape. But
We'll get you into shape. Don't worry about it.
But it's awesome over there. Yeah.
Cool. So Hawaii Now Daily, man. Tell us about what you've been doing, because I mean, we all watch the show and we see you do segments everywhere. You get to go. It's like living the life, man. You eat at all the restaurants. You drink at all the best places. You get to do fun activities. Tell us a little bit about it, man.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me, boys. I've been watching, and I'm like, I gotta get on that. But that's like right up my alley with what I do, just like you mentioned. But Hinow Daily is just about it's this Hawaii lifestyle that all of us are so blessed to be able to experience. It's who we are, what we do, where we go, and a lot of it is about, because it's Hawaii lifestyle, so much of it is centered on the food and the drinks, because that's such a big part of being in Hawaii, right? Is the kind of food, the cooking, the chefs, and the lifestyle that we have. But that's the best part for me about the gig, is being able to tell community stories, and then at the same time, I know Brucey knows this. I used to work with Brucey back in the days at Roots Chris.
Yeah.
But before I was doing what I'm doing now with production, I was in food and beverage. I worked at Morimoto's at the Modern. That was back in Waikiki back then. I was a busboy food runner there. Got over to Roots Chris where I met Daniel. And so I've always had a passion for food, for beer, for good wine, for sake, sushi, all that other kind of stuff. So now that I'm able to do that with Hinow, it's just like the best of both worlds.
So let me ask you, how do you stay in shape eating out and drinking out? If I had your job, I'd eat 400 pounds.
I swear, poo-poos. That's what it is. It's like, I asked Guy Hoggy the same thing when we started. I said, Guy, how are you still so skinny? You host Cheap Eats. You're like 5 plate lunches every week. How are you still? And that's what he told me. That's like one of the important TV lessons. Poo-poo bites, bro. Yeah. Poo-poo bites is what he said. Don't eat the whole thing.
We do poo-poo sips.
We just do a lot of
We just do poo-poo sips all day long. Yep. So do you guys visit a lot of breweries on the shows? Or
we do, yeah. We've had the opportunity. It's been cool. We have a couple of them here. I just came back. We did a tour of Kona Brew's new 30,000 square foot facility. Actually, I tell you, I don't know if it's new, but they renovated, and it's over 30,000 square feet.
They built it down the street.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's a big brand new one.
Holy cow! And that brewery, it's awesome. And more than that too, they give a lot back to the community over there too. They do a lot of good stuff involved in the community. They partner with the Iron Man and so many other good community events that they're involved in. But I mean, the facility itself is awesome. New tasting room over there, and that's like some of my early beers that I remember drinking and being like, okay, this beer tastes good. I like this. Was the longboard. So to be over there and kind of see it was cool.
Nice.
So we actually got some longboard. We can go right into that. So that's a good way to do it. So
But Kona Brew is awesome, man. They got some good stuff over there. They took us into the where they ferment and they do all that kind of stuff. And then at the same time, you figure with a facility that's 30,000 square feet, they provide a lot of local jobs.
Absolutely.
Which you know what I mean. You have people in the warehouse, people work in the bar, then they have the restaurant side. But so it's good.
And it's still such a huge part of the community there is the brewery. I mean, it's sort of it seems to still be a gathering place for the entire community, locals and tourists, and now it's even more so because it's bigger, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, it's for anyone who's ever been to Kona, right? It's the vibe over there. You know, coming in and you see the Black Rock, you head down the Kona Brewing Company. It's always partying over there. It's good vibes down there, and the facility's awesome.
I haven't been to the new one yet, but I mean, I've definitely been to the other one a bunch of times, and I've always had a great time. So that's the way we always roll with it. So.
What's rad too is now you can find the cans, and if you look carefully, it's the new. All the cans are made in Hawaii. Like you look at the Kohola one, they got the ribbed top, right? So those are all the ones that now are being canned at the new facility.
I think the Kona has the island.
Yeah,
the island chain.
Yeah.
That denotes that it was made.
Yeah. But you can even it's easy to tell from the can style because the Hawaii cans have the little rigid edges, and it's cool. It's all coming back, because it was such big
I love those ridges. That it reminds me of like Passion Orange.
Yeah.
That's the cool part about it. So.
Yep.
But
it is. They're doing a lot of good stuff. Another thing that they focus on too that I was coming to realize when we were doing the tour was this idea of sustainability too, like about still being able to produce what they have to produce, but then trying to do it the most sustainable way possible, the most efficient way possible, so it's not causing too much harm to.
So I mean, hey, here's to Kona Brew, sustainability, and working with your community. Cheers. We're gonna come right back. Grab yourself another beer. We'll see you in a minute.
Bringing you what matters. Viewers can receive the Star Advertiser digital full access subscription for just $9.95 per month. Go to staradvertiser.com and click on subscribe. Use the code AHITHING.
How's it, and welcome back to the Art of Beer. We're here with Kainoa Carlson, and let's crack open another local beer. Why don't we open that Beer Lab Eva?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So another local brewery, homegrown, couple local boys, and they just started canning, which is rad. So now they got a couple different varieties canning. For a lot of these small local breweries, they can't get too big too fast. Just it's hard. It's expensive, and it's great to see these guys now. You can find their cans in a couple locations.
How many locations they got now? They have the one in Pearl Ridge. I'm always out that.
Pearl Ridge,
University,
and YPO. So they have 3 now.
Awesome.
Which is rad, and they cover the island pretty well. All still pretty small though. You can still go in. It's that super kind of mellow vibe in all of the places. Pearl Ridge has got the food court, the food hall now, which is kind of rad. Have you been there yet?
I have, and shout out to them. It is always raging. Always. Like you're looking at a. Cheers to that.
Yeah, that was cool. That location's perfect for them. And it's like you think about that Pearl Ridge location. There's no like craft beer or good beer spot anywhere in that area of like Pearl Ridge, Aiea, YPO. You got YPO over there, but it's a perfect location, and it's
catches from both sides.
Yep.
If you get me through YPO and then everything else through Pearl City, you're straight there.
Yeah.
What I notice about Beer Lab too is that they're big on the collabs. They do a lot of collabs. So recently with Hinow on the show, we went out to a farm located out Waialua side. It's a Corteva space over there, but they're big supporters for this program called Go Farm Hawaii. And what that's all about is basically teaching, young people the art of farming, why farming is important. We saw with the pandemic the importance of being able to grow your own food, and we're not gonna go all the way down there, but out there with Go Farm Hawaii, they were telling us about how basically they're trying to educate young kids to get into farming and why it's important. So Go Farm actually collabed with Beer Lab, and they did a limited release thing of this turmeric beer that is grown from this farm that they've now collabed at Beer Lab on, and this thing is canned, and they're kind of shelling it out and showcasing it kind of all over the island. But just another example of in essence, that's truly supporting local.
For the kids.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I think that's cool with a lot of local breweries. You see them all coming back to the local agriculture. Big Island Brewhouse does it with some of their beers. I know Lani Kai, Ola.
Big Island does. Specifically all from on island.
Yeah, you were telling us you were just over in Hilo to check out Ola's tap room over there, right?
We saw Ola Brew's tap room over there. And then talk about the space. It's Hilo. There's not, just to touch on what you were mentioning with Beer Lab and how it is at Pearl Ridge side, Hilo is Nothing like that. Yeah, I mean that Ola Brew tap room is also, and then they have beers. They've got the seltzers, and then this kind of like upscale food restaurant vibe mixed with the live music. But I mean, it's fascinating to see how these businesses, breweries, whatever it is, start, and then the way that they kind of diversify the way that you mentioned.
What was something you had over there that like kind of was like surprising to you flavor-wise?
Oh, okay, actually, and I'm not a huge cider guy because it's kind of sweet, but they did it's like a white pineapple cider that they had on tap at that Ola Brew, and I was like, oh, this thing is action. This thing's pretty good. Of course, when the boys came back, I cheered to the side. I was like, I don't want anybody watching me drink white pineapple cider right now. But it was almost kind of like we were doing the segment, and she was like, what do I gotta try? And the bartender was like, you gotta just try this. And I ended up like, 3 of them later. I'm like, okay, done. But yeah, that it was like white pineapple cider. It was awesome. And then Ola Brew as well uses a lot of local ingredients. They partner with plenty of local people located on the Big Island.
They get tons of citrus and stuff off the
All kinds of ingredients, yeah.
Yeah, pineapple as much as possible.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good. I mean, a lot of these local breweries, in Hawaii, they don't just make beer. They're a little more diversified because we have so much, tropical fruit where it's like it goes well with cider, it goes well with seltzer. So they've diversified their revenue streams, and it works for us as the consumers.
And they support local.
Yeah.
I mean, it works for everybody on every level. So.
Yeah. All these farms, like sometimes the fruit they can't sell, right?
Yeah.
Or like for consumption. So hey, why not go into? They can still sell it to a beverage maker.
Absolutely. And then just to follow that up from the consumer, from like local boy like me, grew up his whole life. Like I grew up eating pineapple, coconut, bananas, mangoes. It's like, you incorporate that kind of flavor into beer, cider, whatever it is.
You take your childhood flavors and
yeah, I know. That's it. I mean, all those fruits that you mentioned, we grew up eating them. So.
Well, we're going to take a break, go get something super refreshing, come back and join us afterwards.
Get your house in order. Visit hificu.com and download the Ho'okele guidebook today.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Art of Beer. We've got Kainoa Carlson. We're going to drink some more beers.
Yep. What are we cracking, Dave?
How about we do this one? A friend of mine sent me this from Kauai Beer Company over on Kauai. We don't get this over here very often. You have to go to the brewery to buy this. This is their Black Limousine. This is one of my favorite beers, and I think it's a black lager or dark lager, German-style beer. In my opinion, the most underrated beer in Hawaii. This beer, it's a light lager, so it has a really nice crisp finish. But when you talk about what we eat, this style of beer goes with brown sugar shoyu, it goes with grilled meats, it goes with kalbi, all that stuff. It's multi flavors, but then a really clean finish.
Does it go with some cuttlefish? Because we got a little bit more of our snacks by 7-Eleven Hawaii. We can't forget about the food. We got to get into that. Beer and food is crucial.
Yeah. Especially when you look at like the Ika, this is how like a lot of local boys like get indoctrinated into beer at a young age. Because your pops is sitting there watching the game. There's beers, boiled peanuts, cuttlefish, poke. It's like you're running around, and he's like, "Hey, you can eat that one and that one. Don't touch that one."
especially if you find a good one and it's nice and hot, you get it in your mouth.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like
whoa, I need something to wash it down. And then by the time you get older, you love that.
That's what's funny. Yeah, so cuttlefish reminds me of. It's like running around, my dad watching the game. You're like, oh, don't touch that one. Oh, touch that.
All right, so Black Limousine. Dave, tell us a little bit about
Dave, you used to own a restaurant in Kauai. You were right down the street from them, right?
Yeah, I love these guys. They're great friends. They actually, when they were building the brewery out, we were kind of their pauhana spot, so they'd work all day, come in covered in paint and dust and whatevers, and built it up. We actually bought the first 2 kegs that they ever sold. Had a little party at the Feral Pig for that, including one of these. So this is one of their flagship beers. They make a Helles style lager, and this guy, and it's always on draft. It's always available.
And what makes this beer different or unique, or what is the style like if someone was looking for it?
Black lagers or Schwartz beers. They're kind of, if you think about like Neger Modelo is kind of like a little darker version of Corona. This is like a darker version of that. So just a little bit darker, a little bit maltier, but still has a really nice light body and a really nice finish.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I like the finish of this one. Yeah.
It's got like chocolate, but it's not sweet. It's dry. It's clean. It's still like super light. It's perfect food. Perfect.
So
food.
this was Jim. Jim was a home brewer before he was a brewer, and this is one of those, the original, like decades ago when he started making this beer. He was thinking about like a black and tan with Steinlager as sort of the Hawaii beer back then. So that was kind of him. He was sort of started with a Steinlager recipe and started with a Guinness recipe and started tweaking them, and then just iteration after iteration after iteration of making that beer, and then moving it into the brewery. And
Obviously, I'm enjoying.
I think we're gonna again. He's having.
Have you ever had a beer like a style like this, like a dark lager?
I mean, I have, but I feel like a lot of the times with the dark, they're bold.
Yeah.
They're strong. This feels just light, like you were saying. It's crisp, it's satisfying, but I'm ready for the next sip. You know, if
that's one of the things that scares, essentially kind of scares people away from drinking these because they're looking at that like, oh, that's probably super heavy and bone. But then you get a sip of it and you're like, oh man, this is not as heavy as I thought it was.
Definitely. Yeah, and you drink this with food, then it opens up so much easier. It's just so enjoyable. Because all those flavors kind of meld with a lot of this. Like you said, like when you shoyu chicken with this, it's like perfect, you know?
Teriyaki, anything.
Oh, yeah. yeah. So when you were growing up, what do you remember, like beer-wise? Like your dad, we were talking about, like, you know, eating stuff. What kind of beers do you remember growing up?
I mean, just like that. It was like cuttlefish, poke, and of course the Hawaii State, like boiled peanuts all over the place.
What beers was your dad drinking back then?
I mean, back then it's a lot of Coors Lights. Yeah. You know how it is. You know, it's Coors Lights, Miller's, Bud Lights. A lot of what they're like still going on today. And the most hilarious thing to me is that for Christmas and the birthdays, because you know now with the Yetis have become so popular and these insulators have become so popular, and we gave one to my dad for Christmas and we gave one to my uncle for Christmas, both of them, and they both was like, I mean, if you need that, then you're taking way too long. He's like, what am I even gonna do with this? We're like, bro, Dad, no, you take the can, you throw them in, and it keeps it cold the whole time.
You gotta trick them into it. You gotta trick them. You gotta bring them two at a time. The second one goes in the insulator, and the other one goes in his hand.
He's like, he looked right at us and my uncle too. Like, bro, if you need that, you're taking way too long. I'm like, good point. Can you just enjoy the gift, Pops?
When you started drinking beer, did you find yourself gravitating? We always wondered about this. Do you gravitate to start off with what your dad?
I did, yeah.
Let's take a break real quick before we get back to that. Yeah. Gotta go to commercial. Watch this. We'll be right back with Kainoa and the Art of Beer.
Homeworld, locally owned and quality brands. Let us help you create your perfect home. Beachside Roofing, the leaders.
And we're back at the Art of Beer with Kainoa Carlson. We're talking about what was his first beer experience. Does it follow suit with what your dad drank, or did you break off and go straight to green bottles?
I did. I'm not even gonna lie. That's exactly what I did. I tried to like Coors Light. And I still have Coors Lights here from there. But yeah, I tell you, mid 20s, early 20s to late 30s is all green bottles. A lot of Heinekens, a lot of plenty Heinekens, and then I started, I knew though, at least what Heineken did teach me, even though we love our Heineken here in Hawaii, clearly, but it was like, okay, I like lagers. You know what I mean? I like that, the crispness, the crispiness of it. You know, it's crisp.
Christmas too, it's okay.
That was the black limousine talking. But, you know, it was crisp. It was a little bit lighter. The color was different, and I liked, it's an easy drinker, you know. And then when Heineken Light came out, I don't know when that. I mean, it just kind of gave you, not the same feel, but it was just you felt a different way about it. But I started with the Coors Lights because I was influenced by my dad was like Coors Light, Miller Light all the time. But then when we would drink with our neighbors from across the street, because we grew up, you know, Hawaiian style cul-de-sac, like everybody's kids is running around in the middle, everyone's drinking, and then our neighbors to this day. Shout out to the Silva Ohana. They're the biggest Budweiser drinkers ever.
Right,
well, my goodness.
We're going to take you off of light and Heinekens and teach you in a different direction.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, though, my first Budweiser experience, I knew, I was like, okay, this one is stop. The dad, our Uncle Jerry, he would grab kegs and he'd tap them, and they'd always have Budweiser at the house. But
what was, when do you remember, like, jumping into like your first kind of craft beer or something different, or like even like locally brewed beer, you know, like, because in Hawaii, like, yeah, like green bottles, everything, they're all brewed somewhere else, but over the last, I don't know, 15 years, like all of a sudden we got a lot of local breweries. Like what was the one that you remember that kind of was like, oh, wow. Aside from like, you know, Kona longboards for a lot of people, but what was it, the next one?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm not gonna lie, I could say maybe the one I've been jumping into more and more recently, and we just did kind of touch on it, was I like Ola Brew too. Yeah. Just what, I feel like now, and the thing with drinking too is it all kind of depends, at least for me sometimes, like the way you're enjoying.
Time and place, right?
Time and place, right? See, like me, I'm outdoor drinker a lot. I mean, if you're gonna put down 6, 7 black limousines, but you're at a baby luau and it's sunny outside, whoo, that's gonna, so it's gonna be different.
We'll see how the time and place works with this. This one's gonna, my favorite local brewery, or one of them, I got a couple, I can't say my favorite. Big Island Brew House. So this is the Golden Sabbath, more of a kind of a Belgian style. Those the barrel aged one. So this is something that a stepping away from the normal lagers and light macro beers. This is.
It's big.
That's the Chardonnay.
That's the Chardonnay one, yeah.
Whoa.
So it's a sipper, it's a sharer, right?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, you don't drink a whole bottle of this yourself, or else, you know.
I really like this one.
Yeah, so it's aged in Chardonnay barrels, so you get a lot of that like oaky kind of.
That oaky acidity from the Chardonnay.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You get that.
Big Island Brew House, you said?
This is Big Island Brew House.
Up in Waimea, yeah. So then both of those, and you got Dark Sabbath too. But, you know, it's another one we had never been able to get on, you know, not on the show because, you know, it's hard, you know. So one unique thing about Hawaii, right? Like, we're islands, we're all separated, right? So, like, say if you lived in California and you know, Kauai is only 80 miles away, right? I mean, that's like San Diego to LA. You could drive, right? But you can't here. So, like, if we wanted to go get Black Limousine, you gotta jump on a plane, fly to Lihui, go there. You know, it's not an easy trip, right? But, like, in other places, like, oh, it's so close. I mean, same thing with Big Island Brew House. You want to go to the brewery, it's a 150-mile flight, you know?
But that's what makes Hawaii beer sharing and beer culture so much better about it, because it's not easily accessible.
Yeah.
So when you do get something that's from a different island that you can't get here, like how Dave's friends sent the Black Limousine, it's that much more awesome. I mean, you just can't get it without, you know, considerable amount of trouble. So just great. And we always got to remember that when we're sending stuff to Kauai. We want to make sure they get the stuff that they can't get there.
And that's why it's so unique too, is that even with how awesome things grow here in Hawaii, the way that they're grown and what's able to grow well is so different depending on the island that you're on, right? Yeah. It's like Big Island stuff. Certain things just grow great over there that they can implement in their stuff. Oahu, Kauai, it's interesting in that. And I feel like even for me doing the show at Hinow, because we have the ability to travel and we get to go and we get to see just, you know, how things are grown, the way that they're grown, and why, like, this specific area over here in Hana is why this ingredient works so good because of X and X, and it's
so speaking of how much you travel, you know, next time you go somewhere, stop at a bottle shop and get us some beer.
Oh, definitely. I'll be back with some Makana for you guys for sure.
So you find yourself on Kauai, go get some Black Limousine
I'll bring some
and bring it back. So check this out. We're gonna keep chatting with Kainoa Carlson on our extended edition on YouTube. So stick around, switch on over. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, boys.
How's it, everybody? Welcome back. YouTube extended version with Kainoa Carlson. So we're gonna crack open another beer. Let's do the Dark Sabbath from Big Island Brew House. Keep the Big Island vibes going. So we were just chatting Big Island or like Hawaii local kind of the terroir is changing. Like you were just telling like on the Big Island even like, right? Like how things are so different from like island to island, and what were those experiences when you're talking to farmers and stuff, like how do things grow different?
It's fascinating because you just assume, right, Hawaii boys, all of us live here on Oahu, that we have a lot of sunshine, we have the best weather, we have, you know, good trade winds, we have all these different things, but that's what maybe some of the biggest things that we learned is that when we go to places like the Big Island or you're in Kona and farmers are like, the reason this grows so well here and only here is because of this, and this, the way that the wind is able to hit us, the way that, you know, the mountains are situated. And obviously their mountains, different than Oahu, different than Kauai, different than Maui. And then when you go to Maui, you have farmers that we meet with, you know, over there on Maui that are able to grow all kinds of different things. You take an example like Mahi Pono, right? It's over 40,000 acres of diversified agriculture and what they're able to grow there. So it's interesting while we're also, while we're all Hawaii, just what's able to grow and the way that they're able to grow it.
I mean, just the stuff that you can grow up country in Maui compared to just
well, there's
strawberries.
you can't do that on Oahu because you can't get high enough and there's not enough elevation, right, to get that
exactly.
temperature.
And then it goes both ways because then there's stuff here on Oahu that's being grown that's just different and is able to flourish here that is different depending on the island you're on.
Yeah. When I had my restaurant on Kauai, it was we talked about like collaborations and things. One of the things about making a beer place, a place where people come and gather, was I kept getting better ingredients because farmers would show up, or my Coca-Cola delivery guy knew his auntie was growing tomatoes, and all of a sudden my burgers were instantly better because those tomatoes were better than what I had before, what I could get before, and it just and the same thing. I'm sure Ola is like that, because they're using local ingredients. I'm sure the farmers are just showing up, and somebody's growing something really rad, maybe just in their backyard, and that ends up in a beer, ends up expanding.
Drop off a case of citrus, walk out with a couple growlers for the.
I was gonna say that's such Hawaii style, right? You're over there like, oh, my auntie growing tomatoes, They're like right down the street. Let me grab my auntie's tomatoes.
If you got a mango tree and the neighbor has a banana tree, you take a bag of mango and you switch it out.
It's like so Hawaii, I love that.
It's all who has what and who can trade, and like, oh, I'll bring you this, and when yours is ready, I'll bring you that. But even with the farmers, it makes sense because a lot of times like they have stuff that unfortunately they just can't sell, right? And so at least to the normal market where you're gonna go buy a fruit like on the market stand.
Share it with everybody.
Yeah, and if the breweries can provide like a secondary market for those ingredients, and then the farmers are still making money to sustain themselves, and why not? Because it's not like A+.
Also,
bruised fruit.
If you grow papayas, there's only so many papayas you can eat. Go to the guy with the next farm and trade it out.
Oh, same thing like mangoes. I mean, like you see the trees around now. I mean, they're loaded, right? I mean, there's only so much mango that people are going to be able to eat, and then so where there's otherwise it just falls and rots and and gets stinky on the ground.
That's right. It encourages sharing. So
That's the super cool thing about a lot of these local breweries, distilleries. All the beverage makers, right? They try to utilize all this kind of stuff. It keeps it different. Yep.
So this is Big Island Brew House, same one, same style but dark and not barrel aged.
And this one is bold. This one is
good.
Yeah.
This one's got a lot of alcohol to it.
This one is got a lot of alcohol.
Is this like 11 or 9.5? Yeah.
Another one. Don't take that down solo. Right. That's not a solo mission.
It's not a.
Well, you can, but it's the only one.
It's the only mission.
Don't buy a 6-pack.
That's why it comes in a big bottle. That's not one you're doing like 5 at a baby luau.
Get in trouble with Auntie after that one. So, we got a couple more we want to do. We're going to switch.
You want to go do a curveball?
You want to do, let's switch.
Yeah, let's do the curveball. Right. Open the Hanakoa.
One more time, this is Big Island Brew
House. Dark Sabbath.
And they're located, which are they?
Waimea.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
They are some of the best humans alive. Like the brewer and his wife. They're fantastic humans. If you haven't been up there, you should go check them out.
So I'm definitely gonna go. And actually, that came as a recommendation because we did a segment over in Waimea. We ate at a Fork restaurant. So great concept too. Fork is spelled FORC, and it stands for Farmer, Ocean, Rancher, and Cook. So this guy, the executive chef there, his name's Alan Hess, and his whole thing is supporting local. Like it shouldn't be awesome. You support local. It should be the standard. And it was awesome. So we went. He's Big Island. Anyways, long story short, go eat there. It's awesome. But he told us a lot of the drinks on his drink menu is from Big Island Brew House. Yeah. Thanks. So they collab a lot over there in Waimea.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's great. I mean, it's fun. Like we're on Oahu. We got a lot of breweries on Oahu, but like we talked about, it's like, we don't get always to visit and talk to other breweries on the other islands, but at least there's some of the beers that we get on Oahu that we can sample and try. But it's fun when you get over there to go to these different places and like check them out. Because like on the Big Island, there's three breweries on the Big Island alone, right? And then on Kauai you got 2. You got
about to be 3.
About to be 3. Oh yeah. And then there's like 2 or 3 on Maui. So it's awesome. Like you're seeing all of it kind of grow, and regardless of what island you go to, you got something to check out. And different beers.
All right, so this is a fun one. We're gonna let you. This might be like nothing you've had before. So We thought we'd throw a little curveball at you. Take a sip, and then we'll talk about what it is after.
Different, huh?
Yeah. I'm almost getting like a little bit, and I don't even know if, but I'm almost getting kind of like a lusciousness, like a creaminess from this.
Yeah. There's donuts in this beer.
So I'm right on then. Hey, donut.
Keeping with the theme of collaboration, this is a unicorn butt sneeze. So Hinow Brewery partnered with the rad guys over at Purvey Donuts. One of their trademark donuts is the unicorn butt sneeze. It's got the fruity pebbles and the lemon. Yeah. It's got like a lemon glaze. That's where you kind of get into that creamy, that lemon is.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's what I'm getting.
They got together and made it's a sour, kettle sour with donuts in it.
Yeah, donuts and fruity pebbles.
Fruity pebbles. Lots of fruity pebbles.
Right. Yeah. And probably lots of calories in this.
Yeah, sorry, like a couple ounces at a time, you know. But it's more just like, you know, I think it's a kind of like fun, good time experimentation beer that they do. You know, a lot of these breweries like trying different things. Like you're talking about like Ola trying all the, you know, all these breweries, like Beer Lab's one that does a lot. Lanikai, you know, Inu. Yeah. There's so many cool ones where they're just like, oh, what can we try? What we can partner with?
Trying something new and that, but also partnering with another business that not necessarily was meant to go with beer, but you know, pushing the envelope on both sides. You know, having a donut go into a beer or beer with a donut. So, kind of cool way to get your local community involved and your business partners. You know, so. Yeah. I got no hate for it.
Yeah. So Monday morning office meeting, you can bring donuts to work.
Bringing donuts to work.
Bringing a 12-pack.
You walk in with packs of that. Here, donuts.
Yeah, that's different. That's tasty though. That's really tasty.
That's a fun one.
I think that's part of what we look a lot of these collaborations and the fun things to do. It's part of what's getting Hawaii beer culture really going because it's more inclusive. You know, you can go somewhere. And ordinarily, you'd have somebody in your group that doesn't drink beer, so you'd have to plan your day around that. You'd have to go somewhere else. But now you can go to breweries because you have things that are different and fun, and people can try things. And the more and more you get to do that, I mean, shit, it kind of opens your mind. Next time you go somewhere, you try something new.
Yeah, and I think just to follow up on that is like this idea of like continuing to expose yourself to new things. Because even like for someone like my pops is local boy, born in the 50s. I keep bringing him up, but he's like my indoctrination into beer. But it's interesting now because here we are, it's 2022, and now I'm pushing on him kind of different beers, seltzers. Like, did you try shoju? Because so oftentimes, even when you're at a barbecue, even with my friends and we're with the bradas and we're drinking, it's still plenty Heineken, plenty Corona, but it's like, did you try the Black Limousine? Yeah. Bro, try this. Did you try the Gold Sabbath? Bro, try this. It's like, kind of exposing us more, you know, the more opportunities that we can get.
And then you never know, he might.
I do that with my dad too. So my dad, he tastes everything and then he grabs his Miller Lite. He tries them all. He doesn't say no. He goes in and tastes it. Yeah.
But you know, like you're always discovering new flavors, right? And it's like some you like, some you don't, some you're like, you know. But it's about that continual journey of like. And that's the cool thing now. It's like a lot of it you can get like that's produced locally. Whereas before it was always like, yeah, you're trying things, but none of it, like we talked about, like none of it was from here. But a lot of this stuff, it's like it's from here, and it's like people are being paid to make it here, which is like totally different.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, you say you try something new, you don't necessarily like it, but you're still like, okay, well, whatever. I supported a local business and I tried it. You know, you get that mindset of trying new things and having it support local. Never gonna go wrong, so.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing. Yeah, trying to like expose the people who enjoy good beer, just expose them to like as much as we can.
Just different things, different tastes.
Because even me, because I go out, even because I'm so blessed, I get to go and try different things. When I am at the barbecue with the boys, I'm like, bro, try this, try this, bro. It's mean, So.
What's one of the like dishes you've had out in your recent travels that like is just kind of like oh, I never thought of something like that before?
Ooh.
Or just like blew your taste buds away.
We were at oh my goodness, where were we at? We were at recently. We did the we were on Maui. Yeah, we were on Maui, and we went to this plate lunch place called Kale's Lunchbox. Went to this place called Kale's Lunchbox. So the chef there used to, I guess he was with, he used to work 4 Seasons Maui before, blanking on it, but his dream was always to just open his own restaurant. He did the whole big hotel circuit, because Maui has so many of those awesome hotels, right? There's the big resorts, big resorts. He did the whole resort thing. It was like, yeah, I want to go and do my own thing, but he opened up this spot in Maui. It's called Kalei's Lunchbox. And he does an ono over there, but the way he does the ono is he like almost deep fries it. It's like deep fried ono with garlic Brussels sprouts, and he serves it like that with some like rice and some mac salad, some other stuff. But I was thinking, wow, garlic Brussels sprouts, because even Brussels sprouts. You see it a variety of ways, but like it was garlic and deep fried ono. That thing was ono.
What else can you say about it?
Yeah. It was super good, and especially that's been the fascination for me. I think more so than just like the dish that's blown my mind is to see like the evolution of plate lunches. In Hawaii. Like, bro, this guy is like a full-blown resort style. Like, this guy could be an executive chef at any major hotel in Waikiki, and here this guy is making plate lunches.
But I love seeing that.
It is. It's
so
like,
we're getting a whole new generation of people opening chefs that are classically trained, working in big resorts, and they want to downshift it and make really good casual food, plate lunch. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, the results are good for guys like us. I'm not gonna go stay at the Andas but I will go get a plate lunch on Maui next time I'm there.
But then, like, maybe Brada, who's working the lunch truck, was at Andas for like 10, 12 years, learning how to make the best food, and it's like, hey, you know what I'm gonna do? I'll go make one food truck, and it's like, these guys is awesome now. It's fascinating too. And then the other tidbit is just, I recently had a chance, like in the last 12 months, we did New York Fashion Week. We flew to New York. We did this whole thing with Hawaii News Now. Anyways, long story short, we did a couple of food segments. The awesome thing is that because so many people look at New York as like the Mecca, I don't know if it's for fine dining or for food or for, it's like you go over there and you're like, hey, yeah, I'm from Hawaii. And the chefs in New York are like, oh man, you guys got good food. Like they know. Yes, like they know. We had the opportunity. We went to some different, we did a restaurant spot in Brooklyn. We were in Times Square. We did another one in Manhattan. So we did like the whole spectrum. And when they found out, we're like, oh, so where are you guys from? We're from Hawaii. And even like waiters, servers, bartenders, like, oh man, I've been there. You guys got awesome food. It's like, we're respected out here. Like they know that, yeah, we have some good stuff out here.
It's been really good for the last couple of years, and restricted being able to travel and whatnot, and had more people coming to Hawaii. And the James Beard Awards, which is like the Oscars for food, Hawaii got such amazing representation this year. And we've got a finalist in Robin Ma'i at FET. But there was everything from high-end to bistros like FET, and plate lunch places were getting nods on that. It was fantastic to see Hawaii on the map for that, because I think we've been underseen in that for, we used to have to compete against California restaurants, and like everyone goes to San Francisco, so that we never saw any awards. And then we kind of got looped into someplace else. But this last couple of years has been really good for people coming out and seeing what we're doing. And we're, like I said, farmers and fishermen and ranchers.
The rest of the country seeing Hawaii chefs stepping up their game. So.
Oh yeah, and I think people like here there's always been those like the plate lunch places, underground places, right? You always had the hotels and the big restaurants and stuff like that, which are always amazing, and some of them were like completely changed the game, right? But there were always the ones that wanted to serve like just down home food. I mean, like you go to like a Hamada or something, right? Like, dude, any day you go there for a plate lunch, you're just like, oh my God, like this is, and it's $15, $16, and it's like,
I'm at Hamada's more than I want to. Love Hamada General Store.
I know.
Go check out the specials.
Like, go
every day.
I don't know if I'm
not every day, but
it's busy enough, but it's like, we have places like that where it's like, I sometimes people don't know about it, and it's like how good that food is, and that culture of like mixing different ethnicities in the food. When you go get one plate lunch and you're like, oh, there's so much going on here.
There's and even to just touch on like the innovation, the way everything continues to go. You used to see all the time and you guys know this too, you've been in the industry for a long time, but you would always see wine pairings. Now you're seeing beer pairings. You're seeing that. You're seeing that more.
You see wine and beer guys going head to head on the same food. So who's
like that's been new for me, like as a consumer, seeing that, right? You always seeing, oh, okay, this is the sake pairing with the sushi, this is the omakase, this is what's happening, and then you see the wine pairing. But now you're seeing beer pairings. You're seeing that more and more.
So many styles of beer. There's something to go with every piece of food. So I mean.
Well, come to an end. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, Kainoa, appreciate it. Cheers.